Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a match between Dark and Bunny, two top Korean pros, with Dark perhaps being the most well-known and favorite in this match. But Bunny is one of these players that whenever there's something going on, whenever it truly matters, he tends to just kind of show up. He's a tricky one, okay? He is not your standard run-of-the-mill Terran player that just kind of follows the standard meta. He is actually someone that likes to play his own shenanigans and has his own weird little tricks that he likes to employ. I always feel like if you haven't seen Bunny play in like a month or 2 months, he usually has a new set of tricks, or he has his old set of tricks but slightly changed to whatever is more current. And he is someone that definitely likes to hard counter, blind counter, and throw in a curveball every now and again. So I'm curious to see what he has prepared for Dark over here. Dark is just opening up with a very standard opener here, we could definitely say. We saw the fast speed, we see the quick gas mining continue here as well. A little bit of a Ling run by to try and get some scouting information, as well as maybe kill, I think he killed a Marine. Did he get any SCV? He's got an SCV as well. So honestly, not a bad trade here for that one Ling. What are we getting behind this? We're seeing a very normal opener out of Bunny. It's going to be multi-Hellion, Liberator, we have a barracks as well. No tech lab yet, okay, now it goes down. And the reason why I find it important to point it out is because Bunny is one of the players that actually has been playing a bit of mech in the past. Him and Gumio are the two Koreans. Well, I guess Maru and Ryung as well. So there's actually a bunch of Koreans that like playing mech. But Bunny is definitely one of the guys that likes employing it as well. He's also someone that is a huge fan of big bio pushes, like these committed 3-base bio pushes, rather than going into a Clem-esque mid or late game, just like a straight up push through the middle. Bunny always kind of reminds me of a Korean version of Hero Marine. You know, very aggressive, but more so with these big pushes and not so much with like crazy multitasking or insane micro. It's more the way that they set up the fights and the decision making on how they get there tends to be the deciding factor in their games. As this Liberator is moving in and wants to get a couple of kills here, at the same time we have this Hellion run by now setting up. Of course, Dark should be aware of this, but I'm not sure if he's in position with anything. Here comes the Hellion run by, and he's gonna split up the cars as well. That is very cool, actually. Don't see that a whole lot. Lynx are not in position here to deal with it as the Liberator enters the main base. Queen will continue shooting this, but is actually slightly in range, and as a result will die. Spore will need to move. I think Dark is still busy dealing with these Hellions in order not to lose every single drone at the third base. This is a beautiful double evil wall here. Kind of locking these drones in the middle, saying, hey, you can't reach them. Sure, they can't mine right now, but at least I'm not losing all of them. The Liberator actually manages to survive as well, after killing a Queen and 8 drones in the main base. So really just a phenomenal start here for Bunny when it comes to the harass. One thing that I think Dark has done relatively well is to not overbuild Lynx. Very frequently, if someone is Hellion harassing, we see the Zerg kind of in a panicky way build like 40 Lynx. So then you're losing 10 workers, and on top of that you're also losing like another 10, 12 workers because you're building so many Lynx. So the indirect damage becomes bigger than the actual damage. And Dark with a very kind of measured amount of Lynx here. This was what, 12, 16 Lynx. I like that. That's a decent number. There's still some cars on the map, so it was absolutely necessary to build those because you don't want those Hellions to just continue dealing damage. Liberator is actually going to get a kill on an Overlord. It is rare to see that because the Liberator, well, it doesn't shoot very quickly and doesn't have a whole lot of DPS. 5, 6 Overlords being produced at the same time. There's 7 Overlords out already. So it's actually just doubling the amount of Ovs he has. Dark does not want to get supply blocked again in this game. It's going to be set up for the rest of his life pretty much. Bunny's pulling ahead in supply is usually not what you want. As a Zerg player, if you're playing pure Ling Bane, which it seems to me that is what Dark is doing, you actually kind of want to be up maybe 5, 10 supply or so, because a lot of your income is going to be coming from minerals rather than out of gas. So it is relatively easy to get a lot of mineral mining. Gas mining is the thing that's expensive to get. So yes, seeing Dark struggle even keeping up with the supply in this case is a very, very bad sign for his position in this game. 1-1 as well as Combat Shield is about to finish up out of Bunny as he aggressively moves across the map. He's going to clear a lot of creep, gets all of the tumors but one on the right side over here. I would love for him. This feels bad to scout just for, or to scan just for a single tumor, but I think it would be worth it. Because right now, if this is going to get cleaned up, the respreading of creep is actually going to be fairly simple for Dark, because you still have this position out here. Well, if you clear this, all of this creep is quickly going to disappear, and that will allow you to set up this position later on again fairly easily as well. So yeah, I think that was a very good scan. Barely manages to catch another tumor here on the top side of things as well. We have a Ling Bane run by being set up. On top of all of that, it's going to be a pickup. As yeah, Dark really wants to clear this up right now, because he wants to respread the creep while there's still a little bit remaining. But he's not going to be capable of doing that, as this will disappear. We have a pickup at the same time, a run by as well. So I do believe that Bunny is in time to kind of respond to all that. Needs to target down these Banes. Gets one, doesn't get the other 4 though. And as a result, we'll lose a couple of Marines. Bunny actually struggling when it comes to spending his money. Has about had 1k in the bank or so. Now is starting to spend. Triple barracks, probably a round of Marines in there as well. C22 has started drilling claws. And once again, he's up like 10-ish supply. And now he's actually going to continue pushing on further and further forward as new reinforcements arrive to this position. This is a really scary one. This is a really, really scary one, because it is actually attacking things that Dark cares about. So Dark will need to fight off Creeper to try and deal with it. Queens are trying to clear that tank. Won't quite work out though. So we have another Ling run by now, heading into the natural, and this time around Bunny isn't quite ready. Does have a couple of Marines, but I don't think those are enough. Tank is going to get knocked out as well over here, as the Queen Ling will finally clean this up. No, tank still remains alive. The tank continues shelling down this hatchery. This is one hell of a run by though out of Dark, who's just kind of sending these Lings towards the left side. 8, 9 SCVs going down, more and more workers falling here on the third base as well. The tank plus Hellbat still is there. 1 Marine in the back as well with 5 kills. This Hellbat has 5 kills. This tank has 33 kills in an absolutely insane position. This thing has been shelling away. I think this is the same one that was over here on the high ground. He really got the best of every single spot. Is going to end up dying with 33, 34 kills. A lot of that is going to be Ling Bane. There might be a Queen or something in there, but still extremely valuable tank there. Behind all of this though, Dark has managed to set up a gold base. Didn't lose this 4th base either. So, oh sorry, this was a 3rd base. Didn't lose this 3rd base. So we still have 5 hatcheries, actually 6 hatcheries, because we have an extra one in the main. Like, this doesn't look so bad, if I'm being real honest, for Dark. Despite the struggle he had clearing his opponent's army up, he's in an okay spot. He's in a playable position. He's at Hive, 2 upgrades, Adrenal Glands. We're lacking maybe some type of follow-up, but no, he actually already has that prepared. We're seeing the Hydra, then we have an Ultralisk Cavern as well. I didn't even notice that. So he can go into Ultralisk if he believes that he's in danger of dying. If he wants to attack, I wouldn't mind seeing him play some Hydra Ling Bane, maybe into Viper even. And I think that is what he's going to go for. I think the Ultralisk Cavern is more of like a safety, you know? It's the, in case your opponent is like really messing out those Marines off of some type of Adrax, he might transition into like pure mine. I wouldn't mind seeing some Ultras in the mix, especially as long as the Marauder count is low. Like, Ultras freaking destroy mine Marine positions. It's crazy to watch that happen. So, very understandable play here. We get the pickup. Now, I don't say that Bunny is necessarily in a bad spot, but he's in a worse spot than he was before. A significantly worse one, because he was very far ahead. And right now, I think Dark has all the tools to get back into this game. This is a really cute position. A typical Bunny move, like really positional player. Kind of finding these spots where it's hard to engage into him. And like I said, not the flashiest of micro, but good enough, and in combination with strong positions, should be fine to kind of stay around here. We have a flank coming in, but I think Bunny is going to preempt that by actually just attacking the right side. This 6th base isn't super vital here, but, well, actually, if this base goes down, then this 5th base is pretty vital. There's no creep heading up to that general area. So if you're Bunny here, you can keep this position. You see the lack of a base on the left. You're going to be playing 4 base versus 4 base. That is a very pleasant setup to be in. That is actually pretty much is what you want in life, I think. So he's going to attack into the 3rd. I'm not entirely certain about that one, because part of that is going to be on creep. You don't want to fight on creep. I think taking out this base first should have the priority. Like, I understand he wants to go for the kill because he has very good supply, but against Dark, trying to kill him is extremely difficult. He's going to get the cancel on this base. That is big, but I think he might have overextended just a little bit here. If he gets pushed back right now, Dark might be capable of counter-attacking. And once again, what was basically an unlosable position 15-20 seconds ago now looks kind of okay for Dark. Like, Dark is actually cornering these medevacs. We have Hydras on both sides. If Vipers are out on the map, which aren't quite out yet on the map, this could be a serious issue. Dark is actually going to give up this position because he realizes Vipers are too far away. This is going to get stopped as well. Dark now up 30 supply. Like, imagine an alternative reality, by the way, in which Bunny just keeps this position up here and just controls the 5th base. So he takes out this thing, makes sure there's no gold, double drop towards the left in combination with this mine. Like, taking a 5th is going to be impossible for Dark, while Bunny could just continue expanding. Being even in bases for a Terran is an absolute dream scenario. Like, you can't lose. All of the resources lost, no matter how good the fights are for Zerg, will always be in favor of Terran. And on top of that, because Terran has mules, they can actually mine more efficiently from a lower base count. So even bases in every single matchup is always good for Terran. That's the case in TVP and it's the case in TVZ. We see Ghost now starting. 3-3 has finished up. This army here on the left is actually moving in very aggressively. No mines to kind of help out in case they want to piss off. But we'll just go for the pickup. Could actually reroute this into the main. We'll instead move towards the left side. So Bunny is going to get the advanced ballistics here on those Liberators. We see no ship weapons, by the way, which I think is a bit of a mistake. It's one of these things that really starts mattering. Like once you get to like +2, +3. Like, the +1 isn't super important, but once you get +3, like, it definitely does have an impact on those fights. So I always like seeing it early. I'm a fan of these triple mine drops as well. With the drilling claws can be quite powerful. Sadly, there's not too many workers to actually kill, so you're going to be dropping into an area, but there's nothing really in position. He's not even borrowing them, so 3 mines going down there for free is pretty expensive. He has 10 mines total. Those 3 would have been nice to keep alive. Bunny's controlling the left side of the map with this watchtower. And that means that this base is going to be hard to take for Dark. That means that Bunny has basically full focus on the right. Because as long as he can kind of keep this base from seriously mining, it's still going to be 5 base versus 5 base. And I think that is a fine position for him to be in. I'm expecting, yeah, Planetary Fortress here. Ghost count to continue growing. And a serious focus on this right side of the map, I think, is really important for him. Mine count has been lowered quite a bit. We have a tank now coming out, trying to hold this depot wall, which is very far forward. A couple of snipes coming in right now. Another mine is going to set up shop. Ghost in some trouble. Are going to get blasted here by the banelings as the marines in the back will dish out a decent amount of damage. No target fire there on those banes. At the same time, topside base is going to get cancelled, or at least killed, perhaps. Not even cancelled. We have a contaminate on it as well. I wonder if you contaminate it, whether you can still lift it or not. Does it disable that functionality as well, contaminate? I don't know, actually. I do wonder right now. I've never seen that as a play, like a contaminate on a base. Like, I reckon it disables the ability to turn it into a planetary, right? Because that is building something, so it would delay that, but I don't know whether you can lift it if it is contaminated. I'd have to actually test that at some point myself, because I'm just not aware. +2 range is about to finish up, by the way, as Dark is building up quite a bank. Let's take a look at the army comps here. We have a very high marine count, relatively low factory unit count, low ghost count, medium marauder count. So supply looks okay for Bunny, especially when you look at the army supply. If you take a look at the army value, that's massively in favor here of Dark. Like, this is a cheap army that doesn't necessarily pack a crazy punch. We have a lunge forward here into the one Liberator, gets one but loses, I think, 4 or 5 Hydra. I mean, this base can't be taken out like this. It is simply not possible. Advanced ballistics is done as well right now. That means you can move this thing further forward, at least by a little bit. More lips coming in as well. That's going to be Biomine Liberator with very little focus here on Ghost, which is different than what we usually see. Off. Weird. Weirdo. And that's kind of Bunny in a nutshell often, is he plays it a bit different than other players. Because he has a different set of skills from most players. Here come the lungers moving in forward. It's going to be -2-3 Hydras for a single Liberator. I think that is an okay trade in this type of position. where the Liberator production hasn't really kicked off quite yet. Tank spot here is beautiful, by the way. The one thing I'm really missing out of Dark is just a Viper add-in. I think Vipers would be huge to have. This is going to be a weird fight as the fungal doesn't come off. EMP actually connects there first. We have a lunge in forward. This was a really good fight for Bunny. This was a really good fight for Bunny. We're going to have another little battle here. Good lift on that CC. Will the Banelings get the connections they need? The answer is actually no. Resources lost about 3k in favor right now of our Terran player. Oh, that's a fat freaking fungal. Holy crap. Mamma mia. As Banelings are actually not going to connect. And the Medivacs did a very good job keeping those all alive. We have more Banelings now morphing in. Dark is still continuing to kind of, run into this brick wall that is Bunny. Resources lost remains fairly stable, though. That is usually a good sign for the Zerg player because they tend to have slightly more bank. Banelings now moving in forward. Liberators in the back dishing out a lot of damage. Do we have enough anti-air to actually deal with this is the next question. We have so many Marines and, so many Marauders in the back still. So many Liberators still alive. But as long as the resources lost remain stable at kind of like that delta of 3k, I am okay with it. I am completely fine with all of these fights here for Dark. Because take a look at the income. We have 3.2k minerals against 1.8. Yes, the gas income is much higher here for Bunny. But that is something that, if Dark wanted, he could just fix fairly rapidly. We now are going to have Vipers into the mix as well. And I think that is fairly late. Because the one thing that counters the Viper is the Ghost. But we only have 3 Ghosts. Like, this is not a Ghost army. This is a Bio-Liberator army with Ghost supplementation. It works very different. As Liberators are now starting to set up at this planetary once more. I mean, these gold minerals are almost empty. We have Bunny trying to take a 6th base. And I've mentioned that as long as we kind of keep this at 3k, it's fine. This was a bad fight, as we can see. Minus 2k in that battle there for Dark. It's really important in ZVT to kind of keep a look at how the resources lost tab looks. Because if Bunny is going to continue mining his side of the map and Dark doesn't do anything about that, if we get to a split base scenario where each player gets 7 or 8 bases, and it could be just that the resource loss is the only metric that really matters. Like, income doesn't matter. The speed of getting the money doesn't matter if both players are going to mine all of it in the end. As now we're going to have the big fight forward. No mines to help out. Dark does not commit to it. I thought he could, but Dark doesn't believe he can. Perhaps his Hydra count is just a bit too low here. He agrees because he's getting 9 at the same time. He's throwing in a Nidus network as well. He needs to be so careful in these battles. We have an Infestor borrowed. We have another Infestor borrowed. It's not going to get scanned. The one on the right now will get scanned. Just going to snipe that out. Vipers with some parasitic bombs are going to help out in getting more efficient trades. This could be a big fungal. This could be a big fungal if he wants to go for it. But for now, hatchery is just going to get cleared. We have a Ling run by heading in. Tank needs to siege up. Mines need to siege up. Oh, depots need to raise in time, but they won't. A big blunder. These 2 depots to the main will raise. Okay. We have some Liberators out right now that could maybe secure the ramp. Would be helpful. No key infrastructure has gone down quite yet, but this base needs to fly away at least for a little bit. Liberator count is insane, by the way. We have freaking 14 Liberators. He's just massing Liberators, going up to 17 right now. He said, hey, you're not building Corruptors. The only real anti-air you have is Hydra Viper. He's going to go up to 18 lips. That means that Lurkers or Nidus worms or Nidus networks are going to be way less effective as well. Because a good way of dealing with Niduses is just having 1 or 2 Liberators nearby. Like, good luck attacking into those positions, you know? Mine Liberator is really tricky to beat. Or at least it's very tricky to beat efficiently. You have 4 more on the... He's going to go to 21 lips. Majority of his army is actually going to consist of Liberators. There is a Marauder out here. I think 1 should be enough to clear this. 1 will absolutely be enough to clear this. It's going to be tank, lip, lip, lip. 5 Liberators in position. Manhunter will die. That is frustrating. We have a lunge in forward. 8k difference right now between these 2. Once again, Bunny is in time to deal with the Nidus. This is an issue though for Bunny. This is something he needs to deal with. If he doesn't deal with this, then Dark actually starts mining one of his bases, right? And that is most definitely going to be a problem. That is absolutely going to be a problem. There's no 2 ways around that. Because each base is about, what, like 12k minerals or so? And 5-ish, 4.5k gas? So you're looking at like 16k resources that you need to make up for then, and that's 16k your opponent gets and you don't get. So it's a bigger difference. You know, it's double basically because they get it and you don't. So this is huge. Like every mineral you take from one of your opponent's bases, it counts for a lot. And I don't see Bunny denying this base in a million years. Like even if he gets this one up and running, I just don't see it happen, to be real. This should have been snipes, by the way, not EMPs. Both of these should have died. You can't just fly in like that and get some parasitic bombs off. It's absolutely not viable. This right side, I think, is the most vulnerable location right now that we have, if I'm being real honest. Ghost count is finally starting to grow a bit, up to 5. So percentage-based increase is very big there, from 3 to 5. Absolute numbers, maybe not quite as much, but still, yeah, it's something. It's absolutely something. Almost a 100% increase, 66%. It's not bad at all. I'm digging it. It's gonna move forward, clear a bit of creep. I just don't really think that you can move into this position. Like, you're going to need bigger anti-air forces. I think you might just need Corruptors. We have a Spire out and we have +1 starting. So I do believe that Dark has a similar setup in mind. He also really needs to start working on gas, by the way. Like his gas is extremely low. And he is one bad fight away from being out of gas. Like, he's not going to run out of minerals for links and other stuff, but gas could be an issue. He's going to go with another... How many Nidus has he lost already? Okay, 5 Nidus worms, so that's going to be number 6 there. See it show up in about a second. There we go. Resources lost, still an 8k difference here. As I said, every second that goes by in which this base isn't being taken out is a great second for Dark. As Liberators now start moving into these spores, that is definitely a mistake, and spores should be the priority target here. And at the same time, Dark's gonna come in from the side. The Liberator counter is massive, absolutely massive, but because these Hydras are actually coming from a weird angle, they might be capable of doing something here. A lot of lips are now going down. Hydra count is lower than it was before. We tried to reset up, but it's not gonna be good enough. And this planetary is gonna get busted wide open. And this was a completely fine fight for Dark. Once again, stable and that resources lost at 8k. Takes out a base, so denies a bit of mining. And at the same time, keeps this base going for just a bit longer. And every second that this base is mining is a very good one. On top of that, I'm starting to wonder whether Bunny can even get back up to maxed right here. We have 15 Corruptors now as the follow-up. 15 Corruptors against 13 Liberators. Can you actually do this? That is scary because it means your ground force is becoming less powerful. Caduceus Reactor now being researched. That is the energy upgrade for the medevacs. He already has 10 medevacs. He does have a lot of stock in those air units, by the way. Like, the ground force has been tiny and will remain tiny. And the ground force is kind of the one that denies bases and defends, you know, it really strengthens positions. So here come the Corruptors, and the Liberators don't have a whole lot of support, if I'm being honest. So these Liberators are just gonna get taken out. I think Dark just kind of broke the spine of Bunny. His Liberator setup just got busted there within like a couple of seconds. This was a really good fight for him. This was a really, really nice fight, and he still has so many freaking Banelings remaining as well. Needs to be careful not to run all of those into tank shots right now, as the Corruptors are still alive. This is a really interesting setup that we're fighting in right now. Because if we take a look at the actual army supply, it is 83 links, 19 Banes, and 12 Corruptors with... I think he had a few more on the way. Now he cancelled those. So a lot of the army supply right now actually isn't Corruptors. And that's something you need to be very careful of. Something that Bunny might have been capable of doing if he had a bit more cash, is to go for like a big ground force. Like really focusing on like Mine, Marine, Marauder, and just switching away from those air units. But yeah, because he just doesn't have the cash, I find it hard to believe that that's going to happen still. Get a scan on the top side out of Bunny. He saw that this base is now being taken. He hasn't been capable of taking this base at all. We still have some long distance mining going on. As we saw, Dark mine about 400 or 500 gas away from these extractors. We have 3 infestors now on the way. I think Bunny is, and should be, in desperation mode. I mean, he has 19 Marines. He has 2 Ghosts. I think Dark is like seconds away from just kind of rolling all over him. Bunny might be unaware of how bad his position is right now, but we are extremely aware. As yeah, he's quite frankly just completely dead. And his half supply. Here goes Dark. He says, hey, I think it can just clear you, and honestly, I think Dark is absolutely right. If you just run in here, even from a single side, like, this is what, 5 tanks? 6, 7 Liberators? Like, with your Corruptor count, with your Hydra count, with your Ling Bane, this should be child's play if I'm being real honest. I don't think there's any way in hell that this base should ever be capable of mining anything here. We have Corruptors now trying to take out this Planetary. This could be bait to try and get a couple of units to go deal with this, but it's already too late. That opens up this angle of attack as well, so you could even come in with like a massive flank here from the left side if Dark wants to, but I don't think he actually feels a lot of pressure to attack into this because he's outmining his opponent. He is gonna go. No, he's not. It's kind of threatening for now. Bunny is trying to set this up. I mean, the positioning on the tanks is really cool. It would be even sicker if you like an eBay and like a depot over here. Like, they can really strengthen up positions like a crazy amount. But I mean, he just doesn't have the cash for it. He's mining less than a single base right now. It's like 600 minerals a minute, 700 minerals a minute. Now we're gonna get a couple of mules, but it's quite literally a couple of mules. And that's bad. Okay. Dark sees the opening here. It's like, hey, if I clear this base, that could be an issue for you. And you have nothing set up there defensively. I have a crap ton of banelings. Like, what you gonna do about it, buddy? I think it's absolutely a fair thing to do as well. He could even fly in here with just the Corruptors if he comes from the side. And that base is toast. Like, there's nothing you can really do about it. He's just spreading Bunny thinner and thinner. As now we're gonna get the Ling Bane coming from the top side. I didn't even know there was an army there. As this Planetary is just gonna end up falling. Still have a couple of tanks over here. Liberators quickly repositioning. Orbital Command in some trouble. Could get knocked out here. So we have a Fungal. We have the Corruptors now coming in from the east as well. Microbial Shrouds being added into the mix to deny some of that Liberator damage. And that should just be it. There is no way in hell that Bunny is going to get out of here. For the people that still believed about a minute ago, that belief should be gone at this point. As Dark, after a very poor start, is going to make the comeback into the in the mid game, and once he's in control, he's a very difficult cookie to beat. So it's going to be it for me today. I hope you all did enjoy this game. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.